And just because a job or career sounded good to you at one time doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right fit anymore. And sometimes it was never the right fit or the career in the first place. And either we didn't know what we wanted at the time, or we're feeling pressure from a significant other, society, etc. And we pick something that wasn't all the way in alignment with what is truly right for you. Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. I am your host, Katherine. And if you're new to the podcast, a little background about me. At the young age of 26, I started out as a member at Fit Body Bootcamp, and it quickly became the best part of my day every day. And I used that passion and energy that I felt at bootcamp and opened up my own location in 2017. I have successfully opened multiple Fit Body Bootcamp locations, and I continue my journey with Fit Body as a mentor and an investor, and I also serve as the community manager for over 225 Fit Body locations, and I am the proud host of the Beyond the Scale podcast. I am super passionate about supporting owners, clients to live their best life through prioritizing their health and fitness. So I grew my career and my family, two things that require a lot of time. I did those both together, and it was super challenging, but being a mom is my most important job title, though balancing motherhood and work seems almost impossible these days. So welcome to the podcast. For those of you that are new, so excited that you're here. Today, we are talking about a super powerful topic, and that is burnout versus breakthrough. Like, are you feeling burnout? Are you feeling that level of burnout in the season of life that you're in? Or are you having a breakthrough moment? Because I think as a society, we get those two confused. And so I'll give you my own personal example. Before Fit Body Bootcamp, I was working in a really good job. I had a great job. I was the operations manager of a real estate firm, a local business in our community. They were building a ton of houses, apartment buildings, commercial buildings. I was the operations manager, pretty big title for a young person. And I enjoyed my job, but it was very stressful. I couldn't say that I was burnt out because I hadn't been doing it too long, but I got to a point after I became a client at Fit Body Bootcamp, and that was like, the absolute best part of my day. I had this breakthrough moment where I was like, I was meant to do more than this. This is not my passion. This is probably never going to give me that sense of fulfillment that I am looking for. And I can't really make the difference that I want to make in this job. So what am I going to do about it? And so I can't say I was feeling necessarily burnout. I was more having like a breakthrough. And I had, a level of burnout, which helped lead to the breakthrough. And so I'm here to talk to you today about just like how to recognize the two. And there are, huge differences, and really help you understand that you are meant to grow and change and evolve in every role, in every stage and phase of life that you're in. And just because a job or career sounded good to you at one time doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right fit anymore. And sometimes it was never the right fit or the career in the first place. And either we didn't know what we wanted at the time, or we're feeling pressure from, a significant other, society, etc. And we pick something that wasn't all the way in alignment with what is truly right for you. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. And I love the word alignment because I truly do feel that everything has to be aligned in your life for you to be completely happy. And, we could talk about that to great lengths, but we're going to talk a little bit about that alignment today when it comes to feeling that level of burnout or having that breakthrough moment. So here are some ways to start doing this, to start recognizing like, am I feeling burnout in this job that I'm in? Or maybe, you're a stay-at-home mom and you feel like you aspire to do more and you're just feeling like super burnout in your role as a mom, which I get that. I am a working mom and we have those days, but maybe you're feeling like you were meant to do more. Are you really feeling burnout, or have you discovered something about yourself that's causing you to have a breakthrough moment in which you're going to use what you've discovered to create a new career for yourself, to start a business, to start a side hustle, or take on a new hobby? And so the first step is focus on appreciation of where you're at. The best way to create something new in your life is to appreciate what you already have. Find ways to appreciate the things that you like about your job or the season and focus on them every day, whether it's your coworkers, the beautiful view you have in your office, the great snacks in the break room. Focusing on being grateful, focusing on gratitude will keep your energy high and let you imagine new possibilities more easily. So that is the first step, is just, even if you're in a messy season, focus on appreciating a few of the good things. I'm sure that you can pull a few of those things out. All right, number 2 is recognizing what parts of your job, what parts of your day do you truly enjoy. So slow down and ask yourself, what is it that I am happy about right now? And turning the parts of your job that make you feel happy will give you clues about what might be next for you in your career. So what are some things that you truly enjoy doing? And maybe you could find a career doing more of that and less of what you do not enjoy doing. And a very simple example may be if you really enjoy building relationships or mentoring in your job, but you don't enjoy the corporate culture, forming your own coaching or consulting business might be a career goal for you in the future. So that would be my second tip for you, is just finding what parts in your job that you really do enjoy doing. Number 3 is get curious. Don't judge yourself for reevaluating your job. It is totally normal and healthy to want to keep evolving. And if something's not working, it's important to allow change to occur. And too many of us, sometimes we get stuck in these seasons of life where it's like we're telling ourselves, I should be happy. I should be, content with where I'm at, but I'm not. And stop convincing yourself. If you're not happy, like, something is going to have to change. So be an investigator without judgment into your feelings and energy. Start a journal, track, what is it in your job that you're experiencing that you do really like? So ask yourself questions throughout the day, like, how do I feel when I think about my job? Am I excited to go to work in the morning? Am I at peace at work? Or do I feel anxious or depressed? Do I feel drained or energized when I'm done with my workday? I will inject very quickly. I remember when I was in that 9 to 5 desk job at the real estate firm, I would leave that office some days feeling like I just ran a mental marathon. Like, I was on the phone so much and sending so many emails, my to-do list was overflowing into another piece of paper. Like, it was just impossible to leave that place and feel like, okay, I'm going to go home and relax and then show up the next day. Like, I would leave that place just anxious and worried about what I didn't get done that day and worried about what I had coming up for the next day. So ask yourself that question. Like, when you're leaving for the day, are you feeling good about what you accomplished? Are you feeling energized? Are you feeling at peace? Or are you feeling anxious or depressed or just unhappy with the situation? Any of this information is okay, but you have to ask yourself these questions. You need to get really quiet and really honest with yourself about your feelings. Number 4 is get out of your head and connect your deeper inside. So many and most people tend to use their brains to decide their next career move. Of course, this is what we're taught, is to think and analyze, plan and process. But more authentically aligned, you need to make decisions based on intuition as well. Like, this always knows what's best for us. If our brain disagrees, then it's probably not going to be a good idea. So sometimes you need to assess the situation with a deeper form of awareness, practice meditation or other ways to kind of quiet your mind. Like I said, sit quiet with yourself, still your mind and become present and figure out, is what I actually want deep down, like my gut feeling, my intuition, does that align with what I'm doing or the career move that I'm going to make next? And oftentimes we feel like we are so busy that we can't allow ourselves this time. Like, maybe you have a very demanding job where when you get off of work, you feel like, okay, I need to do the few things I need to do at home and then get up and do it all over again. And you never allow yourself that space to sit with your thoughts and to ask yourself those questions that I mentioned. And so when you're doing that, like, you're never really assessing the situation. You're never allowing yourself time to process what's going on. So the first step in this would really just be to allow yourself that freedom and space to have those feelings and to tap into that intuition and that gut feeling that you have about your job or this stage of life that you're in. All right, number 6, don't worry, be happy. Easier said than done, coming from an ex-worry queen. Now I am a worrier. Worrying about anything is never helpful. So if you find yourself worrying about leaving your job or finding a new one, fear that you're going to miss out on a career opportunity if you leave this job, or you're going to miss out on a promotion, you really just have to have faith. You cannot have fear and faith. You have to choose which one, because there's no use in having faith in something if you are living your life in fear. So you You need to let go of that fear. You need to have faith. You need to have courage. And I always say this, the more courageous you are, the more courage that you have, the more confidence that you're going to have. And so a lot of people, they think, okay, I need to have confidence in order to make this career move, to make this change. And truthfully, you don't need confidence. You need courage. You need courage to get out there and make that change. And when you do that, whether it was the best decision or not, you're going to gain confidence over time because you're going to be proud of yourself for making that next step, for taking that move. And so you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get in that zone, be courageous to gain that confidence. Number 7 is be your own cheerleader. Sometimes you might not have anybody that's going to support your career move or your decision. And for me, when I started my business, when I was in my mid-20s, I had just bought a house. I had just gotten married. I, had a good job. I had a salary job. I could pay the bills. I had a little bit of fun money. And when I said I was going to start my own business in an industry that I had no experience in and be a business owner, I didn't go to business school. I was going to take out a loan when I had very little money to my name. There was all of these unknowns. There was all of these pieces to the puzzle that didn't seem to quite fit at the moment. And so I did not have a ton of cheerleaders that were on the sidelines cheering me on. And I had to be my own cheerleader. I had to cheer myself on. I had to give myself those pep talks and say, you have a passion, you are qualified, you are going to succeed in this. And the more I told myself that, and the more courageous I was, and the more willing I was to put in the time and take those risks, the more confident I became. And when people saw that, they started to cheer me on. I started to gain the cheerleading squad. So sometimes you're not going to have anybody supporting you. And if you want it bad enough, you're just going to have to say to yourself, I am my own cheerleader. I am my own biggest fan. I am an advocate for myself. And once people see what I'm doing, I'm going to attract a whole squad. So just remember, it's sometimes going to be a lonely journey, but you can do this as long as you practice those principles. All right. Number 8 is turning fear into faith. And I already talked about this a little bit. You cannot have fear and faith. You can't have both. And a lot of times, we kind of tie this into that feeling as if, what if, and we start to doubt our abilities. And it's so easy to do that when you're in a new phase of life. You're trying to start a business or you're making a career move. A lot of times we want to say well, what if this happens? Or what if this doesn't happen? What if I fail? What if I don't end up making enough money? What if I can't, pay my bills? What if I can't support my family? And you can go down that what if spiral really, really quick and talk yourself out of pretty much anything. And so you got to go back to that, turn your faith into fear principle, not allow yourself to get in that what if spiral, and just say, I'm going to have faith. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to be my own cheerleader. And if I continue to do these things, then I will succeed. There you have it, you guys. Burnout versus breakthrough. How to assess your current situation, the stage that you're in life, with your job, maybe with your relationship or in motherhood. I completely understand that there is a huge difference between burnout and breakthrough, but they're both very challenging. And so just trying to figure out what stage of life that you're in and what you are going to do about it. What are your next action steps? So thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. As always, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Apple Podcast or Spotify, and leave us a review. It is my goal to help educate our community on how to live their best lives in and outside of the gym and just spread the word of body positivity everywhere. Thanks so much, you guys.